Nightwing is the poster child for untapped narrative potential. An acrobat, a straight-A student formerly involved in law enforcement with all Batman's rogues gallery at his beck and call, and quite a few baddies wholly unique to the Boy Wonder at the same time. And how has DC capitalized on this? By relegating him to being Batman's lighting stand-in and ripping off Daredevil for the rest. Fuck, even the abysmal Grayson series, wherein the dangling dick fakes his own death to protect his identity and repackages his suspiciously pert ass as a globe-trotting, pussy-plundering super spy extraordinaire, was, with the benefit of hindsight, brazenly cribbed from a horrendous late 90s Daredevil story arc entitled Flying Blind. While pitching a tent in Batman's shadow in perpetuity is doing the character no favors, the more pernicious flaw by far is the comic's uncanny similarity to the Man Without Fear. Baton-wielding protagonist? Check. Brownstone apartment? Check. Sex life that makes James Bond look like a monastic eunuch with erotophobia? Check. Femme fatale assassin love interest with a life expectancy of a moth with progeria? Check. White suit bedecked billionaire business tycoon arch nemesis who's all about the bonbons and bankrolls? Check. I could go on, but the point is that given the similarities, Nightwing's lack of long-term success is hardly an immutable mystery of the universe. Look, Daredevil's a niche title to begin with, so how successful do you suppose a hastily mimeographed bit of hollow mimicry is gonna sell just because you slap a DC logo in the corner, particularly one that's had more creative shakeups than Colbert's writing staff? Compounding the irrelevance is the fact that every time a writer starts to work up a lather, the powers that be consign Dick Grayson to compulsory anonymity once more. Devin Grayson, whose Nightwing run I will giddily defend to the death, nearly cost the woman her career because it dared to depict the protagonist, a man, being raped by a woman. This after allowing her to murder a supervillain in cold blood without intervening. Yes, Nightwing very nearly crossed the Punisher line. In one of the earliest outliers of the SJW comic book onslaught to come, what might have presented a prime opportunity for Batman and Nightwing to square off at last, and for the younger, more skilled fighter of the two to emerge victorious, was instead whitewashed from the record so fast you would have thought it was a DNC Leaks headline, and Devin Grayson promptly shown to the fire exit where she was immediately fed to the frothing feminist hordes. Rocking the classic look, a newly bipedal Batgirl, and an inaugural arc remorselessly titled Better Than Batman, does the new Nightwing comic do right by the character? Kinda, sorta? Look, we're just a few issues in here, so it's like predicting the World Series champs in the first game of the season, but at first glance, the changes are remarkably minor. Momentarily hooking up with the Illuminati-esque Court of Owls is an interesting wrinkle, but failing to have this put Nightwing at odds with Batman, which it invariably would have, is yet another missed opportunity for character development, and draws immediate unfavorable comparisons to the way DC whitewashed the aftermath and Nightwing standing passively as his arch-nemesis was murdered during the Devin Grayson run. After the initial jaw drop and male rape aftermath, I was primed, I was clenched, I think most people were. I was ready for Batman and Nightwing to come face to face and confront each other about the fact that Nightwing had crossed that thin red line, but instead, we got Batman brushing it off with a, "We'll talk about it later, Dick." And we never goddamn heard about it again. Then Dan DiDio dropped a nuke on Nightwing's Bloodhaven bachelor pad and the character floundered for the next decade. Fuck, even that could have spawned a positive. My first audition package for a major comic company was actually for DC, and it was a 5-page short story where Nightwing is compulsively guarding the irradiated ruins that were once Bloodhaven, where gangsters and savages vied for control of territory disowned by the government because cleanup would be cost prohibitive. A post-apocalyptic superhero story. I was thinking, who the fuck wouldn't want to read that? Fuck, it might even give the comic a character of its own. Perish the thought. But this? I mean, look, the Court of Owls angle is interesting, even if it feels more than a little Daredevil Shadowland to me, but I'm not getting from these inaugural issues that it's actually goddamn going anywhere. Okay, you got a new Proctopal with a hipster beard. Fucking, and? Okay, his eventual heel turn had the subtlety of a hand grenade, but the net result gets a couple new bad guys. Are you ready? Are you ready? Oh, and the aforementioned better than Batman byline? Yeah, turns out it's in reference to this jagoff, not Nightwing. Fuck! Let me steady myself at the desk here. I can't process all the rebirth going on here. And the art isn't helping. Look, at the first video I did for The Shadow, I lamented DC and Marvel's contemporary predilection for outsourcing art from shit-tier Spaniards, and Nightwing is no fucking exception. It's far from offensive, but like a gummy blowjob, it's just kind of there. The comic art equivalent of a TV dinner. Look, I like what I read, but I don't love it. I'm still here, DC, and this is only the first couple issues, so Tom Seeley, Javier Fernandez, do what no Nightwing creative team has accomplished in over a decade, and fucking convince me. I want to like this character. I think most people do, but following Nightwing over the past 10 years has been like investing in the peso or betting on the Mets, but thus far the new Nightwing appears further evidence of the fact that this recent rash of relaunches is a bit like hitting up Filiberto's for a burrito bender. Oh, the salsa verde tastes good going down, but 5 hours later when your ass is a Bunsen burner and there's a team of dwarves forging a broadsword in your ass, you realize it was a one-sided gambit from the outset. I'm Razor Fist. God fucking speed! Nightwing!